May I remind you that trading is risky and not suitable for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Welcome to QuantBox Daily. First of all, my sincere apologies for Friday. I was man down. I had no voice. I was on antibiotics. I got much better. You know that last week I was going through some continued flu. Man, I don't know what's happened to the flu lately since COVID. It's gotten vicious. I'm not sure if I had COVID or whatever the case may be, but I'm back on my feet now. This morning, we had technical issues with our inverter because, as you know, South Africa is having problems with load shedding, but everything's been resolved now, so there should be no further delays. I decided, instead of just leaving today's webinar alone, I'll do a New York Open, just so you got some information for the week. So here we are, QuantBox Daily. What is QuantBox? QuantBox is your global macroeconomic quant in a box. It's a beautiful fundamental tool that collates a whole bunch of data and gives you a fundamental bias. And the beautiful thing is you don't need to worry about where this data comes from and how to get where it comes from is important. It's definitely valid data. But if you were doing this by yourself, you'd have to get this information on your own, pay massive subscription fees for a number of different services. With QuantBox, you get everything under one roof. And the beautiful thing is a week trial is $7.90. Give it a bash, add it to your trading. I guarantee it's going to add value. You can't trade without a fundamental bias, okay? So what we do is we look at the market heat map. We take a look at the currency pairs that are currently the most bullish for the previous session and the most bearish for the previous session, okay? And as you can see right now, Aussie dollar USD, Kiwi dollar USD, Aussie dollar CAD, those are all our pairs that are currently very bullish. These are all the pairs that are currently very bearish, okay? Now, what's interesting is look at your indices. Okay, risk off, baby. So let's take a look. So we got Aussie USD. We jump over here to a second tab. We take a look at our Aussie USD. Might as well look at all the dollar pairs while we're here. But Aussie USD coming through the strong sell. Now you can see right now currently bullish for the session, but a bias of bearish. We like this because it means that price might have come up to resistance, but we'll have a look and see in a moment. So euro dollar currently coming through with a sell, pound dollar coming through with a strong sell, USD CAD should be buy. Here we go, strong buy. And Aussie USD, we just looked at that right now, strong sell. Kiwi dollar coming through with a neutral, okay? What we can do now is jump into our pairs, have a look at our Aussie USD. On the daily time frame, you can see price coming off the monthly S1. We broke out of this range. We did not test the bottom of that range. Right now, what you're paying attention to is, does price come up to resistance or to the 21 EMA? You don't want to see a higher low on this time frame down here. You don't want to see price coming down, touching support, and then going up. That cancels the bearishness. On this time frame, though, we are currently still bearish. Okay, so you're looking for price to get up to resistance. If you're paying attention to H4, I spoke to you about this last week. I said you be careful. If price comes back down and tests the top of this range, we have problems. Now you can see what's happened is price has subsequently come back down to the bottom of the range, come up. You can see 21 EMA pushing price down, not making that lower low, price coming up down over here, testing that support and price now coming up. This is quite concerning for you. What we need to do now, if you want to continue selling this, you need to see a lower low, lower high form on this time frame. So you want to see price come down, price pull back underneath and close at resistance. Until then, you have to identify that right now we got bullish conditions with a bearish fundamental bias. Be very, very careful of this, okay? You want to see bearish structure, okay? Right now you can see we don't have bearish structure. You can see price didn't make a lower low. Price then came up, made this, it's price making a higher low, okay? But price then came up, price now comes down. You can see we've got support beneath us. We don't like that. We want to see resistance above us. You have come off the weekly M3, okay? So you are looking for price to form that bearishness. Now, of course, the H4 time frame might not be where you see that. You might see it on the H1 time frame, okay? You can see now, if we look over here, resistance over there, okay? Looking at the M15 time frame, you can see we don't have bearishness right now. Look at the structure of that, okay? What I'm waiting for specifically is the H4 time frame to indicate bearishness. Once that happens, I'll then move down to the different time frames. Looking at the rest of the dollar pairs going into New York, we got euro dollar over here, okay? Bearish as well, but you can see technically we're currently coming up to the top of this range over here. We don't like that. For the 4 hour, look at the daily. You can see daily, we're still currently ranging, okay? This candle here not closing at top of the range. We want to see what happens to this candle over here. If price breaks back into the range, we then pull back up to resistance, it's a sell. Well, we're going to verify lower time frames. So we want to wait for these candles here to break back into the range. And then once that's happened, once this candle is closed for New York Stock Exchange, pay attention to price coming up and testing resistance. Now, you can do that on a lower time frame chart. So on your M15, take your H4, draw your range, Okay. M15, you can then see where you're looking for price to come up and test resistance. You got a 2155 cross on the M15 time frame. You could look at price coming up, pulling up to 21 EMA and taking that down, but recognize the fact that price broke out of this range and did not test the bottom of that range. I don't like that didn't happen. I would like to see price breaking out of the range, testing resistance, making a series of lower lows and lower highs. That didn't happen. It tells me price will pull back up there, which means if I sell this, I'm not selling a trend. Okay. So what I'll wait for is I wait for this candle to close. Once this candle is closed, I can then investigate further. All right. Taking a look at the pound dollar for the New York session. So pound dollar coming through on the daily, you can see still stuck in this range. We spoke about price breaking back up into this range and testing the bottom of that range. That has not happened. Okay. So price still stuck inside this range. I don't want to trade the range. I'm going to leave pound dollar alone. Kiwi dollar coming through neutral on the fundamentals. I don't want to trade neutral on technicals. I'll leave Kiwi dollar alone. Going back to our market heat map, we can see here we got Aussie CAD and Kiwi CAD coming up as top earners or top movers. So going into our crosses down here, looking at the Aussie CAD and Kiwi CAD, we can have a look and see here Aussie CAD. Where's my Aussie CAD? There's my Aussie CAD over there. You can see the Aussie CAD coming through bullish. Aussie CAD bias neutral. I'm leaving that alone. Okay. Then we got Kiwi CAD. Let's have a look at Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD coming through as a buy. What's interesting is we've got Kiwi CAD currently being bullish. We've got a bias of buy, which means have we got a trend? Can we buy higher lows? Let's take a look at Kiwi CAD. So Kiwi CAD all the way down here. Looking at Kiwi CAD in the daily, you can see currently ranging. Okay. It is bullish. I would like to see where this candle closes first. If this candle closes above here, let's just draw this out for you. Okay, let's just draw the range like that. If Kiwi CAD closes above this previous candle over here, in fact, let's just extend this way left over there. If this candle closes above here, I'll go to the H4 time frame and have a look and see if I can buy price at support. I'm looking for a 4-hour candle closing at top of the range and then taking that higher. Recognize the fact you are out of position, but if you're buying a higher low, and if you can get that off of a 21 EMA, you're totally fine, right? But only if prices close at a roll reversal or price coming off 21 EMA. Recognize the fact that you've come off a central pivot point this week. Target for the week is R2. Okay. Cool. But make sure you're buying higher highs and higher lows, or buying higher lows when you trade that. All right. So pound dollar we've done, euro we've done, Aussie Kiwi. Taking a look at Aussie Kiwi in our crosses. So Aussie Kiwi over here, we got a bias of strong sell. That's cool. So Aussie Kiwi currently coming up bullishly. Got a strong sell. Has price come up to resistance? Can we sell? Let's have a look and see. Aussie Kiwi over here. Looking at the daily, you can see currently at a profit-taking zone. We can't sell down here. Okay. You could be looking for profit for counter trend trades. No problem at all. You've got a confluence of a weekly M2 and a monthly weekly M2 and monthly S2, but you cannot just buy this right now. You're looking for a higher high, higher low. Okay. Now you could wait for price to close at support, and then you're looking for higher highs, higher lows on lower time frames. Okay. What I prefer, though, is I prefer the higher high, higher low to produce itself on the H4 and then verify lower time frames. Okay. But for now, you can't sell. You cannot exercise our bearish bias on that pair. Looking at the Aussie Swissy, let's take a look at Aussie Swissy. Aussie Swissy coming through as a sell. Okay. Currently bullish. That's great. Let's see if we're currently at resistance for Aussie Swissy. Aussie Swissy, Aussie Swissy. There we go. Looking at the daily, okay, fantastic. Price is currently coming down. You have got a continuation down. You are currently below profit-taking zones. I don't like this. I prefer selling in position. You can see price is not pulled up against the 21 EMA. That's the only condition you can sell, unless, of course, you get price formulating a range over here. Then price makes a lower low, pulls back up to a lower high. You can sell that. Your target is the target down here, but be aware that your weekly target is below your monthly S3. You're very much out of position. This is a very dangerous place to trade. Be very careful down here. Okay. If you do get bearishness and you get a confirmed lower low, lower high, as you trade, you're paying very, very careful attention to any price action, lower time frames in case price suddenly spikes up. To avoid the spike up, wait for price to be in position in a future time. Okay. Looking at the Kiwi Swissy over here, Kiwi Swissy, we got Kiwi Swissy coming through with a bias of neutral. We'll leave that alone. Let's move down to our bearish pairs. So we've got, let's look and see all our indices, of course, dollar yen. Let's look at euro yen. Let's look at yen pairs in general, actually. So euro yen coming through. Let's look at Aussie yen first. Aussie yen coming through, bias of sell. CAD yen coming through bias of sell, euro yen coming through bias of neutral, pound yen coming through bias of neutral, Kiwi yen coming through the bias of neutral. So Aussie yen and CAD yen, only currency pairs we can currently look for selling opportunities on. Jumping into Aussie yen. So Aussie yen daily, you can see currently bearish. Below a profit-taking zone, you are very careful with regards to that. Here is your London trade, okay? Price pulled up to roll reversal. Price is now coming down. In terms of where you are right now, you're not currently at resistance. You can't sell this. If you want to trade the continuation in this candle, you're going to wait for this to make a lower low. Once this makes a lower low, you can then look at lower time frames, see if you get a lower high, but recognize that you are very, very, very low, okay? Potential target, bottom of the range. You can see bottom of the range tying up. Let's look at that price over there. Price is currently what, 87,859, and you got your profit-taking zone 87,420. So you could get down to profit-taking zone, but you want to see price close. You want to see H4 candle pull back up to resistance, and then you want to take that trade while verifying lower time frames. Be very careful, though. You want to make sure you pay attention to price action. The moment price action displays bullishness, you want to get out because you're currently very much out of position. Be very careful down here, okay? Gravy. Looking at the next pair, CAD yen. So CAD yen currently on the daily, you can see currently falling, okay? On the H4, you can see there's no real roll reversal there, coming for lower moving average. You're looking for price to pull back to resistance, wait for this candle to close, wait for price to pull back to resistance. But you make sure you're selling at roll reversals or at 21 EMA. Your target is the weekly target. You got confidence in the weekly target and monthly M1. This is a much nicer trade than Aussie yen. You've got a lot more space to move, but you've got to make sure you're selling off bearish roll reversals or a bearish 21. Verify that, get that trade on the H4 time frame, and then verify lower time frames for a safer trade. Moving in, okay, we looked at the euro yen, pound yen, or neutral CAD yen. We've done that. USD ZAR currently bearish. Looking at USD ZAR in our cross currencies, we've got USD ZAR down here. USD ZAR currently a bearish of strong buy, currently bearish. We like that. Has price come down to support? Looking at USD ZAR over here, let's take a look. Where's USD ZAR? Give me a second. There it is there. Okay, cool. So USD ZAR breaking back inside the range. Okay, now coming off a daily 21 EMA, you're paying attention to this. Okay, or you're buying at 21 EMA right now. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, you can see price breaks into this range, doesn't test resistance. Price is currently down here. Okay, this is a New York candle. So looking over here, you're paying attention to, have you got a higher, 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 low, lower time frame? Looking at the M15 time frame, you're looking for a higher, 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 low. Currently 21 EMA, 21.55 sideways. You're looking for a move up, higher, high, pull back down, higher, low, 21.55, 21 crosses above the 55, price closes at 21 EMA or a bullish roll reversal, okay? If that doesn't happen, you don't buy, okay? Fantastic. In terms of the next pair, let's look and see. We got Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie coming through with a bias of neutral, leave it alone. Then we've got, what else we got? We got euros. We're going to see, where are we? Euro Aussie, okay, pound Aussie coming through the bias of neutral, leave that alone. All right. Now you can come back and at New York Stock Exchange, once this candle is closed, the 12 o'clock candle, because this candle closes just before New York Stock Exchange, take a look at your market heat map. Obviously, verify the trades that I've discussed in the session. Otherwise, at New York Stock Exchange, take a market heat map, have a look and see what's changed, verify everything fundamentally and technically, and trade accordingly. But remember, at all times, stay patient, stay disciplined, stay liquid. Have an amazing day. I'll see you at London tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for your time.